Hey guys, John Plyler here from Acumen Tactical. Just wanted to make a quick video today to go over some things regarding holsters and holster setup. This is a topic that comes up frequently in classes, or I see students show up for classes and they're not really sure what equipment they need, what's right for them, or they'll show up with something that's not quite really ideal for their specific purpose. So I just wanted to talk about a few things with finding the right type of holster. Specifically talking today about like concealment holsters. Okay, um, so this is my current everyday carry setup here. So this is carrying a Walther full-size PDP polymer frame clear gun here with a weapon-mounted light, full-size competition size optic, right, and a spare mag carrier. This is being carried in a Tier 1 Apex holster. Okay. Now it has a removable mag carrier. Obviously you can take that off if you don't want to carry an extra magazine, or you want to carry it in a different configuration. You can certainly do that. So let's talk about a couple of the things that we're looking for in a good quality holster. There are several different holster manufacturers out there that make good quality products, and I will link them in the description. There's a few that I generally will recommend to students. One of them is Tier 1 Concealed. They make really good quality stuff, both inside and outside the waistband holsters. Another one is JM Custom Kydex. And then finally KSG Armory Holsters. Now that being said, there are other manufacturers out there that make great products. Those are just the ones that I typically have experience with and will recommend to students when they come through classes. So what are the attributes that I need for a good quality concealment holster? So first thing, if you are buying your holster in the gun shop, chances are you're not getting a good quality holster. Okay, most gun stores carry very limited array of different types of holsters, and most of them tend to be kind of what they call universal fit holsters, which universally really don't fit anything well. Okay, just because of economics, manufacturers are trying to create a few different holsters that will fit a wide variety of different weapons. Just kind of makes sense from a manufacturing point of view, but it's not really what you want. Okay, you want a holster that is custom fit to your specific make and model of firearm, and any type of accessories that you might have on your gun, such as weapon mounted lights or optics or anything like that. You want to make sure that it works with those as well. What I typically recommend is a good quality Kydex holster. Okay, there are other products like Bolteron, similar things. There is a difference between Kydex and plastic. Some of your cheap mass-produced ones are actually plastic, okay, and they don't have the same qualities that Kydex has. But that's what I generally recommend. Now, let's talk about some of the attributes that we need for a good holster. Number one is it needs to securely retain the firearm. What that means is a couple of things. Number one is that if I take the gun in the holster and I just turn it upside down and I just gently kind of shake it, you see it's not going to just fall out. Okay, there's no active retention on this holster. We just have some little retention screws down here that you can adjust, but other than that, it's not going to just fall out of the holster. Okay, also you want to make sure that the trigger guard is fully and completely covered so that no type of foreign object could get in there and interact with the trigger in any type of way. Okay, so it needs to be secure. Also, a good concealment holster needs to be relatively comfortable. Now, keep in mind you're carrying a metal or polymer gun around on your body with Kydex, hard plastic basically. So it's not going to feel like a pillow. Okay, and there is a thing that we have to talk about carrying a firearm being comforting versus comfortable. Part of that, though, is just getting used to it, right? It's kind of something that you, over time, as you put the holster on and wear it, you get used to the feel of it. And for me, honestly, like, I know it's there, every day, but I don't really think about it. It doesn't interfere with anything that I'm doing. It doesn't bother me or anything like that. Okay. And there's some things that we can talk about to aid with that as well. So it needs to be secure, it needs to be comfortable, it needs to also be relatively concealable. All right, you don't want to walk around like you're got a Wheaties box under your shirt. Okay, so there's a couple features that good holsters have to aid with this. One is that you will have some type of a wing or a claw, right? And what this is designed to do is to push back against the tension, the resistance of your gun belt, which we'll talk about in a minute, to help push the gun back against your body. All right, you can see with this particular holster, this wing is adjustable. You can adjust the thickness of it. It has a small one over here on the mag carrier side as well. One of the things I like about this particular holster, again, this is the Tier 1 Apex holster, is that everything on it is adjustable. You can adjust the ride height with your clips. You can adjust the magazine cant, all of that kind of stuff as well. So the other thing, feature that's good to have is some type of a wedge on the back side. You can see this is just a foam wedge, right, which makes it a little more comfortable up against your body, and it also gives you a little bit of a additional heat shield. A good quality Kydex holster will do that a little bit anyway, but this, if you're out at the range shooting a lot of ammo and the gun starts to heat up when you reholster it, right, this keeps that away from your body as well. But the primary purpose of the wedge is to, if you can kind of see from this angle, push the bottom of the gun out, right? So it pushes the grip of the gun back in tighter against your body. Because we know with a loaded firearm, this is where most of the weight is in the grip, and left to its own devices, it will tend to want to pitch forward this way. So the wedge is designed to kind of do the opposite, and the wing or the claw helps to push it in this way as well. All right. So it needs to be secure, it needs to be relatively comfortable, it needs to be concealable, and it needs to be fast. Okay, you need to be able to access the gun quickly when you need it. So having it set up properly on your belt, having the proper ride height, meaning that where it sits on your belt line, you should be able to get a full grip on the gun, get these three fingers right in between your belt and get them on the grip of the gun in the holster. Okay, if you can't do that, a lot of holsters don't have adjustable clips and the grip sits right up against the belt. You're not going to be able to draw that gun quickly or safely. All right, so ride height is an important consideration to talk about as well. All right, so a good holster is secure, it is relatively comfortable, it is relatively concealable, and it is fast. That's what we're looking for. Now, there are a lot of different products out on the market. Every gun person, I think, has their holster bag of shame of things that they've collected over the years that maybe were not ideal, and I'm no exception to that. So that's part of the purpose of this video, is to show you some different things that maybe are not the best fit, and that you can make good purchasing decisions. Again, this is something I really think of like buy once, cry once, right? So that you get good quality equipment. If it's something that you're going to depend on and you're going to carry every day to potentially save your life, then you want to invest in good gear. Okay. Now, generally, I am always an advocate for on-body carry, whether you carry in the appendix position, whether you carry strong side. For me, those are really the two acceptable positions, whether you carry inside or outside the waistband on your strong side, or appendix inside the waistband. Now, there are a lot of different bags and purses and sling bags and backpacks and things like that people like to carry. To me, those are not ideal, but that being said, if you are going to carry in a bag or a purse, if that's the only way that you have to consistently carry the gun, then I would rather you carry the gun. If that's the only way, I'd rather you have the gun on you than sitting at home in the sock drawer. okay? But I definitely do lean towards on-body carry as being preferable. If you are going to carry in some type of a sling bag or something like that, you need to make sure that you have a dedicated pocket that you can access quickly, and ideally you need to have a hard-sided, preferably Kydex holster that's secured and fit to your specific firearm, maybe velcroed inside there, okay? So the gun's not loose inside the bag, and obviously nothing else can go into that compartment, no car keys, pins, anything like that. It has to be a dedicated compartment only for your firearm, all right? The other thing is you're going to have to practice with it, right? You're going to have to practice in whatever way that you choose to carry it, presenting the gun, getting it into the fight if you need to quickly, all right? Along those lines, let's talk about vehicles real quickly. Not a big fan of leaving guns in vehicles. This is one of the primary ways that crime guns happen, right? People that are not supposed to have guns largely get their hands on them by breaking into vehicles where people have left firearms unsecured. So if you're going to leave a firearm in a vehicle for any length of time, it needs to be secured in some type of a safe, preferably that is affixed to the actual frame of the vehicle in some way that is secured. But in general, I'm not a big fan of leaving guns in vehicles. And, you know, they make a lot of different gadgets and different products for supposedly securing your firearm in your vehicle, right? Different magnetic mounts, and I've seen the ones that, like, you hit it with your knee and it pops up, and it looks cool in the advertisement. I'm not a fan. Again, on-body carry is preferable, whether you're in your vehicle or out of your vehicle. One of the reasons I carry in the appendix position, and I've chosen that is what works best for me, one is it's the fastest position to be able to access the firearm, and I don't have to change anything if I'm sitting down or I'm sitting in my vehicle seat belted in. The draw stroke, everything is exactly the same, okay? So that's one of the reasons that I prefer that. Also, if you have your gun in some type of a magnetic mount, and let's say you're involved in some type of a collision or an accident, or just brake hard, right? If you've ever been in an accident with your phone mounted in one of those magnetic mounts, where does it usually end up? Probably back in the back floorboard somewhere, and that's where your firearm's going to end up as well, all right? If it's securely mounted in a good on-body holster, it will still be there, right? Even in a pretty violent collision. So I'm not a big fan of any of the gadgets as far as leaving guns in the vehicle. The other reason is that if you have the gun mounted somehow in the vehicle, the problem is when you get out of the vehicle to run quickly into the grocery store, or you got to stop at the local stop and rob to fill up your gas tank, are you going to actually take it out of the mount and secure it back on your body, on your person, before you go into the store or get out to pump gas? Chances are probably not. And where do a lot of crime, violent crime, robberies happen? In those type of situations, okay? Plus, if you were to have, you know, small kids or anything like that, you're leaving an unsecured weapon in the vehicle with them if you were to run into the store or something. So again, my preference and advice is on-body carry, even in your vehicle. Nothing needs to change. The gun's always in the same place. All right. Now, let's talk about some other holster types. Leather holsters. There's some good quality leather holsters. I don't generally recommend it. These are just a couple examples here. The problem with leather over time is it tends to wear and soften, and you don't get as secure of retention, and you know, the possibility of even through the holster being able to potentially put some pressure on the trigger is a real possibility. Another issue with a holster such as this that has some type of a top strap, like the holster doesn't hold itself open. It would be really difficult for me to reholster one-handed with this type of a holster, which means I have to come over with my support hand and hold the holster open while I'm trying to reholster the firearm, which obviously leads to me muzzling myself with the firearm, okay? So these are not, in my opinion, considered safe. Same thing with any of the soft-sided type of little holsters. Like this is one that just came with a gun bag. It's designed to kind of Velcro in there, but again, there's no type of retention. It's again designed to be a universal fit and too easy. It's just soft side. It's too easy to potentially get into the trigger guard area with these types. Let's see what else we got here. Ankle holsters. This generally is a no-go for me. Just very cumbersome to carry around, difficult to draw, difficult to reholster and access and get it into the fight quickly. There's just not a good way to do it. So I generally will pass on those. Let's see what else we've got. Same for like cross draw type of holsters, shoulder holsters. I'm not a big fan of those. There's no good way to get the gun out without muzzling everybody on your way to the target. They're inefficient, so I'm not a fan personally. Now, belly bands. If you're familiar with what those are, traditional belly band, it's just kind of a piece of elastic, right? That when you draw the gun, it just collapses. So there's no way for me to safely reholster that gun one-handed. And again, they're very soft-sided. No, they're not very secure. Now there are versions such as this is one that this just says clip and carry. I don't know specifically the brand name. I think I got this one somewhere on Amazon years ago, but it's kind of interesting because it has a built-in belt essentially, and you just take your Kydex holster and you're going to clip it into the built-in belt on this essentially belly band holster. So this type would be a little bit better. Now they make a similar product, and one that I know is very popular, especially with a lot of females. You know, if you're wearing leggings or gym clothes or even dresses, things like that, that don't generally lend themselves to wearing a gun belt. Something called the Enigma holster by Phlster. That's Phlster, and again, I'll link that down in the description below. I know those are very popular and very, good quality product. Now you'll have your own separate holster that attaches to that. It basically separates it's a system designed to carry the firearm independent of what you are wearing. Okay, so it's not related in any way to your clothing. So a lot of people like those. That can be a good option. One other one that I want to talk about real quickly would be this one. Now this is just a paddle holster, which is designed to just clip onto your belt quickly. The problem with this is what we call a Serpa holster. It's designed to have a little built-in retention. There's a button right here that I push to deactivate the retention in order to be able to draw the gun. Now you can see I'm coming in with my index finger of my firing hand to push in on this button as I'm pulling up on the gun. Very easy to get that trigger finger into the trigger guard and have a negligent discharge. That's why I don't allow these type of holsters in my classes, and I know a lot of other firearms trainers that don't allow these holsters, but they were very popular for a while. So just something to be on the lookout for. I would avoid these. They're just, in my opinion, dangerous. The other piece, so I look at this as a complete system between your gun, your holster, and your belt. Okay, you want a good quality gun belt. Just a normal dress belt is not really sufficient to support the weight of a loaded firearm. That's not its design purpose. So you want something that's stiff enough to be able to securely help to hold the holster and hold the weapon. Okay, so I've got a few different ones here. This first one is a Core, K-O-R-E, Core Essentials. What I like about this is the ratcheting system, right? It just has a little quick release, and you can just ratchet the belt in and out to adjust it. So if you have you're wearing your gun, and then you get home and you take the whole holster out of the belt and you want to just quickly cinch it up, you can do that. Now, this is a good belt. I've wore this for a long time. There's other similar products like Next Belt, and there's a few others out there. Kind of the same thing. They have a stiff inner core that's usually like steel core or something. So as you can see, it retains its shape very well. The problem is that most people are not shaped like this. So if you're wearing this for an extended period of time, then you're going to develop some little hot spots, especially around your hip bones and things like that. So you can run into some comfort issues with this one. That being said, I wore this particular belt for quite a long time and got used to wearing it every day, but I found some better alternatives that work better now for me. But this is one possible type of belt. Now another one that I wore for a while was this one. This is the Foundation belt by EDC Belt Company. So this belt is designed, you can wear it for appendix carry in the front or strong side carry on your dominant side. So in those areas, it is stiff just like the other belt, but in the other areas, it's relatively flexible. Okay, so it's designed to be a little more comfortable, to conform to your body a little bit better. Okay, I did wear this belt for a little while, but then I found one that I preferred a little more than that. And because I carry pretty much exclusively in the appendix position, I didn't really need the stiffness in the rest of the belt. What I currently carry and what I found to be the most comfortable concealment belt that I've ever worn is the Belt. It's just literally called Belt by Hunter Constantine. If you don't know who Hunter is, he's a pretty well-known Grandmaster competitive shooter, but he's designed this particular belt. It's got a couple different size adjustments here, and of course you can adjust it further on this, but basically this one is designed for appendix carry exclusively, so it's stiff just in the front of your waistband, but the rest of it is just elastic basically in the back, so it's very pliable and very comfortable. And if you have it adjusted correctly, the elastic actually helps to pull it in tight against your body as well, so it helps with concealment a little bit from that perspective as well. This belt I can literally wear with gym shorts or anything else, right, without even belt loops, if you cinch it up well. So I am a big fan of this particular one. Like everything, you get what you pay for, right? A good quality belt is going to be a little bit pricier. A good quality concealment holster is going to be a little bit pricier. But again, buy once, cry once. Get good quality gear and equipment that you're going to rely on potentially to save your life. Okay? So hopefully that helps. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, please feel free to leave a comment and I will try to get back to you. Always happy to help. And if you would like to subscribe to our channel, we're trying to start adding a little more content on here, so that way you'll see when we add a new video. And please feel free to like and share this if you're so inclined. It helps us out. And if you don't want to, then that's fine also. But in either case, hope that you have a good rest of your day.